It was the midnight of 15th of August 1947, when the first Indian Prime Minister declared India as an independent country. This year India completes 75 years of its independence. Throughout all these years India's economic journey has been incredible. Today, let's see what India has achieved in the last 75 years and how it has grown. So, before colonial rule, India was a self-sufficient and flourishing economy. It was the world's largest economy ahead of China and Western Europe. However, following the European Industrial Revolution and subsequent colonization of India, the Indian economy experienced a significant decline. According to some experts, India's share in the global economy decreased from 24.4% in 1700 to 4.2% in 1950. After 200 years of British rule, India achieved independence in 1947. And this is where the story of modern India begins. The initial years after independence, economic growth mostly stagnated. The government adopted a centrally planned economic structure and five-year development model. Much of this development model was essentially a copy of the Soviet-era economic development plan, where the government makes the majority of economic decisions regarding the manufacturing and the distribution of products. With a lot of import barriers, license Raj, and low private participation, the Indian economy was growing at a slower pace. This continued until the 80s. Then in 1991 the Soviet Union collapsed, which was India's largest trading partner. Also the oil prices rose dramatically due to the Gulf War. As a result of all this, the Indian economy began to suffer greatly, and India faced a balance of payment crisis in 1991. To get out of these tough times, India managed to implement structural reforms in the economy. From 1991, India started to open up its economy to the world. The country took steps like reducing import tariffs, deregulating markets, and reducing taxes. Doing this increased foreign investments and helped India grow its economy in the 90s and 2000s. Higher FDI and the consumer sector growth reflected in the country's GDP, which grew at a 7 to 8% annual rate from 2003 to 2007. Now following the 1991 economic reforms and the introduction of Internet in 1995, India's IT sector started to grow. IT became an $8 billion industry in 2001, which was only a $100 million sector in 1990. One of the reasons behind this tremendous growth was the Y2k problem in the year 2000. Many Indian companies came up to solve this problem, and it showed India's capability to the world. Also, the government provided easy access to satellite links to major IT developers, which enabled them to transmit the work done in India worldwide. The business process outsourcing and other IT companies benefited from it. Today thousands of jobs have been created due to this industry, and it has attracted significant foreign investments. Apart from the IT sector, India has a huge industrial sector too. Major industries include pharmaceutical, chemical, the automobile industry, and also electronics manufacturing. Speaking of it, India is becoming an electronic manufacturing hub. Many big companies have already set up their facilities in India. The government's production-linked incentive schemes are particularly attracting many international companies. According to government sources, these companies could be producing mobile phones and other electronic components worth more than $143 billion over the next 5 years. And to help these industries further, India is going digital. Whether it be documentation or banking-related work, India is progressing toward digitalization. One of the biggest beneficiaries of this is people from rural India. With the help of India's unified payment interface, money can be instantly transferred between two bank accounts just using your mobile phone. By doing so, India has already surpassed an entire generation of credit card bureaucracy and has transitioned to a more modern system of paperless transactions. With the exponential growth of UPI, India has surpassed China and the United States to become the world's largest real-time payment market, with 25.5 billion annual transactions in 2020 alone. Along with the banking sector, India's startups are also benefiting by the digital transformation. With easily accessible internet, the rate of internet penetration in India is rapidly increasing. Today the internet penetration in India has reached 50%, up from 27% just 5 years ago. And the availability of cheap mobile phones in the market is creating a wave of startup ecosystems. After the success of first-generation startups like Infosys, TCS, and Wipro, the digital revolution is helping the second-generation startups in the country. Startups like Flipkart, Paytm, and Zomato have turned into multi-billion-dollar businesses in India. In today's time, India has already created more than 100 unicorn startups. The country's startup ecosystem is still in its infancy. As the number of internet users in the country grow, so will the opportunities for startups and IT services. With the help of low internet costs and the upcoming 5G revolution, India will have the most active internet users in the world. Today India does not only have a bigger market but also has a lot of educated young workforce. It is a country that produces over 1.5 million engineers every year. Today their main efforts are to go towards the manufacturing sector. India is trying to benefit from China Plus One strategy by creating a business-friendly environment and launching different schemes to attract foreign investments. From electronics to textiles, and automobiles to pharmaceuticals, India is providing generous subsidies to a variety of industries to boost its manufacturing capabilities. As you know, the manufacturing sector requires a lot of young and cost-effective workforce. And right now India's median population is still under 30, and the country has at least 3 decades before its population begins to age. If India takes advantage of this opportunity, more than 500 million people could join the middle class in the coming decades. This could be the world's largest increase in the middle class. What India needs to do is implement broad-based structural reforms to make doing business easier, improve its infrastructure, and most importantly use changing geopolitical shifts to alter its trading relationship with the world. So, from just a $37 billion economy in 1960 to a $3.2 trillion economy today, India has really come a long way. From 1947 till today, that is in the past 75 years, India has made tremendous progress. And if India play its cards right further, then in the next decades this country could truly be a game changer. Now what is your perspective about India? Well, tell us in the comments below. And if you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Thank you.